Yo, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Yo, I'm good, man.
Ruslan.
Hey,
Thank you
yo,
for having me, brother.
yeah,
Gotta hit them with
Ruslan.
that once again. I'm great. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
yeah, bruh. So, he got the triggers on deck too. So we're not slipping out here in these internet streets, man. So, man, I can't tell you how pumped I am to have you on the show. I've been blessed with some really dope guests to come on the show, and you're just right up there, upper echelon, in my opinion, with all of the rest of them. So man, like, yo, first of all, I just got off a stream watching this guy. I just watched him for a whole hour. You know what I'm saying? While I was setting up and everything. And man, I gotta repent. I gotta repent. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the things we pray for, right? We can't pray for these things if we don't like have our actions lining up with it, right? And I see this man's work ethic, right? I see this man come in and like relentlessly just putting in work, and I know for a fact that my work ethic ain't there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be, you know what I'm saying? It could be there. It's just a choice that I haven't made yet to be like, man, I'm finna just go all in. Forget it. I got all the gear. And speaking of gear, he actually, Ruslan, we're gonna get into your intro in a minute, bro. I just kind of want to get a backstory. You know what I'm saying? So I have been stalking this dude's YouTube channel for over a year. Like, I have I have so many screenshots. Like, when you change like a camera angle, like change the camera angle now. Could you do that? You could do that, right? Yeah. Bam.
I'm here now.
Go to the other camera angle. You know what I'm saying?
This is the one this is the coveted camera angle. This is the one
with the slider. So
the slider. I think I'll put a slider on that one too,
bro. Like, I have so many screenshots that I showed my wife. I'm like, look at this, babe. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. she's like, dude, you're fanboying too hard. I'm like, I know, but I gotta get my setup right. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when
your setup is money, bro. I'm looking at your setup like that joint crazy.
But please understand, I can't give 100% of the credit, but about 90% of the credit for like how I wanted to structure my studio is 100% based around what I saw you do, right? And
no.
yeah, like, and I have a small corner. It's just literally just a small corner, so I don't have a dedicated room. God hasn't really put me in this position to buy a house yet. Hopefully by the end of the year I can buy a house and have a dedicated music studio and film room and YouTube room. But just being able to do what I've done with my corner, I feel like I feel somewhat satisfied, So just how I came into Ruslan, I heard a song. It was Ocean's remix, right? It was like on Rapzilla a long time ago, and that's that's the first time I even like came into the knowledge of you and King's Dreams, and I'm like, oh, these dudes sound dope. And then I seen you guys kind of getting into YouTube, and then I was like, okay, his channel is dope. I remember I commented on one of your videos this time last year, bro. I said you had 17,000 something subscribers. And I said, dude, why is not your YouTube channel bigger? You know what I'm saying? Like, your content is just, you were kind of more vloggy. Then you were maybe just kind of changing up the format a little bit. I don't know for sure. But, and then you just commented back. You were like, you said, it's coming, bro, or something. You was like, in time, right? And I was like, good. So that's when you were kind of changing the format a little bit. But from that point on, I've been following what you've been doing. And what you've been able to do, I think, is just amazing, because it shows like everyday people out here. Like, not saying that you're everyday person, but like, you see the big KC9 stats, you see all these other people, and you like, man, like, could that really happen? And you just kind of prove like, hey, you don't know me, I'm not a household name, but I'm literally gonna kick the YouTube doors down. You know what I'm saying? Which you have done. So I just kind of want to get that backstory. Just to be completely honest, I wasn't, and why I had to say that is because I wasn't a big fanboy like before. So I was like, okay, the music is dope. His vibe is dope, but I wasn't like a fanboy. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm like a fanboy. So I think it's real important to show that backstory, because it's like, you converted me, and I'm pretty sure so many other people that you converted just through your consistency and your message and things like that. So first and foremost, salute to you. You know what I'm saying? And for those who may not know who you are, you know what I'm saying, please kind of introduce yourself in your own words, tell them who you are, and like what you do, your story a little bit.
Yeah. I'm Ruslan, creative, entrepreneur, artist, YouTuber, It's weird to say that out loud, YouTuber. And yeah, I started in music in 2015, went full time with music, and then in the last year and a half, I pivoted primarily to YouTube, and we're gonna get back to putting out some more music soon. So yeah, it's been good. My channel has done really well since about a year ago. We grew by over 60,000 subscribers in a year by using a live streaming format of going live once or twice a day and then chopping it up into multiple videos right inside the YouTube. So, yeah, man. That's the air horn I need. You need to send me that joint because my air horn kind of weak.
I love your air horn, bro. Like I was like,
I need the generic one.
Let's swap.
I need that mug.
It's not on the Rodecaster Pro. It's not. I mean,
not that one.
Wow, man, you must have. Yeah. When I got it, it was already preloaded. But I did get mine secondhand, so they might have already had it on there. So.
See, lucky you.
So that's legit. We can truly. I'm super excited right now, so I don't want to make sure I'm not jumping too all over the place. I want to step down on some of the stuff that you're saying. So you said a format of going live twice a day, right?
Once or twice a day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once or twice a day, and then chopping your videos down to like kind of, I won't say micro content, but shorter form content from the long form content.
Yep.
Now,
exactly.
Had you seen that resume, that recipe or any format before? Had you seen it?
Yes.
Before?
Well, the format is not that uncommon. So the format is, if we look at Joe Rogan or The Hill, that's what they use all the time, right? Joe Rogan, The Hill, they use this format of long form and then chop it up into short form. One long broadcast, chop it up into a short broadcast. So Joe Rogan does it with podcast. The Hill, which is like a political channel, they do it with their daily broadcast. Now, what I didn't figure out, and I don't know if they do this live, but they would have these bumpers in between each segment, and it was the same like little intro music.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yo, if I can have some type of bumper in between each video, then I could really do one long stream.
Wow.
And then go in and clip them right inside of the YouTube editor. And then that's when I found my not that one. I found that drop.
Hey.
Ruslan.
And so once I found that drop, I just threw my logo on it. And then I basically was like, I'm just going to go live. And then every single topic will have a little drop.
Wow.
Then I'll go into the next topic, and then I'll separate them with this little drop. And then inside of going live on YouTube, like if you look at your YouTube interface, you'll notice there's this little button that says mark. It's like a little marker button right inside of YouTube. Okay. So you can mark stuff inside of YouTube, and it says add a marker. And that little add a marker thing will take you to your YouTube editor. And when you open up the YouTube editor, it'll show the little marks of everywhere in your stream. So if you have 5 topics on one stream that you're going to hit, then you can just do mark. Or if you mess up, like if I'm you, I'm marking all of our little intro and all of our pleasantries, and you doing the count, all that gets marked out. And I started the meat of the interview. So then I would go in as soon as this interview is done, and I would trim the beginning and just jump right into the meat of the interview. And then I'll also take the other parts, hit save as the other markers, because now I'm seeing the markers to separate everything, and all of those would become separate videos. And
so real quick, can you mark it real time, or are you saying after you do it live?
Yeah, I'm marking it real time as I'm live, or if I messed up, or even if I do something as silly as like mess up a sentence, you know what I'm saying? Or I no, I'm messing up. Yeah, there's a little section right inside YouTube that says add marker. So are you in the YouTube?
So while you're live, yo, this is crazy. So while you're live, you can mark. That's worth the $200 I paid for your course right there.
Hey, shout out to you for
I'm just saying.
That course.
Let's talk about that for a quick second. If you guys don't know, I'm big on I'm big on investing. You know what I'm saying? Like if I
think the course is closed now, right? Or is it
it is?
Let me see. I think Zach may have opened it up. Yeah, we did the beta launch for YouTube. Let's see. No, it's open. It's just we just doubled the price
gotcha.
Yeah, it's still open. Gotcha. We just doubled the price.
Cool. Well, I'm big on if somebody knows something that I need to know that could potentially save me time, right? Then I would rather pay the money that I can get a lot more of rather than waste the time, which I can't get no more of. Does that make sense? So
yeah, that's because you're a boss and you think like an entrepreneur, right? Same thing with like, if I could change my oil, I could change my oil, but it'd be easier for me to take it down to the Jiffy Lube and pay somebody $35 instead of fumbling around trying to do it myself. Same idea. The difference is that sometimes you're paying for information. Sometimes you are paying for information that could cause transformation, right? So like, I'm not going to put anything in a course that somebody can just look up. Somebody could have looked that up, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm putting in a course is a system of creating mass amounts of content that can scale with you. That I think I made up. Like, I'm 95% sure. I just talking to everybody in the YouTube space, talking to Sean Cannell, Think Media, all these different folks, Curtis King. I don't think anybody is doing this format that I'm doing. And it's a very powerful format because you could pump out, I'm pumping out 4 to 6 videos a day, 2 or 3 on a light day.
Wow.
You know, and it's all on the front end. It's all in the setup and the hardware. And then in the course, I go over like the particular, I didn't want this to turn into like a pitch for the course. But,
yeah, no,
I go into
absolutely.
like the content type of strategy, finding your niche, trying different things. But yeah, I had the idea last February, and I remember telling a friend about it, and they were just kind of like, oh, I'm not sure if that's going to work. And then I really didn't have anything to lose. And so I just finally just started doing it when the pandemic hit. And
that's crazy.
I touched the algorithm, and once I touched that algorithm, I was like, oh, like it's on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's crazy. On. Like, have you had to like hide your like notification emails, like send that to the dump?
Yeah, I had those a long time ago. Yeah, before the format, yeah, I had those a long time ago. Yeah, no notifications are crazy. Yeah,
when I hit like 10,000 subscribers, I'm like, I can't do this. I hit that. It was crazy. But so yeah, shout out to Lim Drops. He says Ecamm. Actually, Ruslan is now on Ecamm. Welcome to the Ecamm fam. Thanks, my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate you. Yeah. No, the Ecamm is cool because there's a couple of things with Ecamm that OBS didn't offer. I mean, they all functionally do the same thing. What Ecamm offers is the comments, like you're putting up now, and then Ecamm also offers the interview mode, which is nice. So you don't got to pipe that in. And Ecamm offers customer support. So all 3 of those are massively important to me now. Like, I'd rather pay for those things than just, figure it out in OBS. Because I don't like piping in interviews with like Skype and adding a virtual camera and all that. Like, I feel like that's too cumbersome. And then also, I'm not a big fan of not having customer support. If I'm stuck on something, I can actually like hit a human and they get back to me.
Absolutely. So I'm with that, man. Yeah, efficiency is where it's at, man. I love what you said. I can't skate over that. I actually dropped some diamonds on you. You said sometimes you pay for information. Say it again about transformation. Sometimes
you can pay for information, right? Like, you can get a textbook and there's information in there, but other times you pay for information that can lead to transformation.
Wow.
So to me, if I can pay a nutritionist to put together a meal plan, but it's another thing to pay a nutritionist that's going to show you how to make all the meals, how to prep it, how to put it away, how to make sure it doesn't get soggy, how to make sure like the whole system works for you so that when it comes to the week of eating, you can just eat and keep it pushing and not have to overthink. Oh, what am I going to make? How do I make this again? How am I supposed to, what chicken? The chicken's supposed to be a what, right? So it's like the information and transformation, I think is powerful. And what you're really paying for is ultimately time, right? Like, you're ultimately paying for somebody's time and somebody's experience.
That's a great segue. I know you kind of got into like your health thing, you know what I'm saying? And I'm kind of, I won't say I'm super big on it. I need to be more big on it. One place I really get stuck at, bro, and I probably haven't dedicated the time to really learn it, is the whole macros and is it micros? I don't know. It's like it's a system though, that if you could figure that whole system out. Is it macros? Is that what it's
macros? Macros is just short for macronutrients. And the error a lot of people make is that they just calorie track, which is fine. But what they miss is that they don't know what you need for body transformation.
Wow.
And it has to do with manipulating your macronutrients. Your macronutrients are just your fats, your proteins, and your carbohydrates. If you can get your ideal body weight in grams of protein, you will feel more full, you will be able to build more muscle, and you will be able to stay leaner, because you're eating more nutrient dense food, more high protein food. This is gonna fill you up, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so I had worked out for a long time. I had kept track of my calories for a long time. I did the creatine for a long time, but it wasn't until I started counting macronutrients and knowing, okay, my ideal weight is 180 pounds. So I need to get 180 grams of protein. Okay, cool. So if I weigh this piece of chicken, it'll convert to 40 grams of protein. If I have this egg, if I have 3 eggs, it'll be 18 grams or whatever, 20 grams of protein, right? And so now it becomes a game. It's just a puzzle every day. I'm just trying to get the right amount of macronutrient. And now with the apps, it's mad easy, because you can either use a scale or a lot. Like my meal prep, I just take a picture of it and it just boop, 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 puts it all in.
I hate to go this way too long, so we're gonna just jump on it and get off real quick. But what's that app called? Because I need that app. What's the app?
Oh yeah, I use Lose It. I like Lose It, but there's another app, MyFitnessPal or Lose It. Lose It, I can literally, like, I have my meal prep and I just take a picture of the little macro chart.
Yeah.
And then it'll just automatically put it in. And so, yeah, man, it's dope, bro. It's very helpful. And then you do it long enough, and you'll notice that you actually eat. Most folks don't realize they eat more food when they eat properly. Yeah. You actually get more volumes of food, because if you're eating greens, they're going to be more nutrient dense and they're going to be higher in volume. And so you find yourself eating more food, you find yourself less hungry, and then you find yourself performing in the gym better. And then you fast forward a couple months and most people's body starts to change rather quick, unless you have some type of like hormone imbalance, your cortisol levels are through the roof, you're mad stressed out. Those things could affect weight loss too, and physical transformation. But by and large, most people aren't getting enough protein, in my opinion, or at least folks that come from what I come from. It's like, I come from poverty. Like, we didn't really eat chicken and fish regularly. You know what I'm saying? We were new to the meat.
People don't believe that when you say, like, you know, like me personally, my mom had 5 kids. We all slept on the floor. We couldn't afford, like, you know, for all of us to have beds. Like, I tell people that now and they don't believe it. Like, no, you're lying, Eliseo. Like, bro, like, if you saw how I came up, you would know that, like, I'm not capping out here. Like, we were poor. So
yeah, man. See, I was an only child, so I always had my own room and that whole bit. But see, I was mad lonely. So you say 5 kids, that sounds like fun. It sounds like you had a fun childhood, even though y'all was poor. Imagine being poor, you know, and then you're alone, and your meals consist of like microwavable pizzas and like all TV dinners. Like that's what I grew up on, you know.
I want to give a shout out to Say Mistage. She said, new around here, and dang, you got some fantastic production going, Eliseo. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, again, I credit Ruslan a lot with how I structured my my live stream setup, multiple camera angles and stuff like that. So, man. So, yeah, I like to have a free-flowing conversation. And we're going to get into some other stuff. I do want to address this question real quick. Maybe you have a quick answer for it. What is Ruslan's biggest piece of advice for Christian creatives and entrepreneurs? That's a good question. I usually don't really address questions right on the stream, but I mean, since we got it, go ahead.
Biggest advice, man, there's a lot. Biggest advice. I think
I know my biggest advice would be go follow Ruslan. Like, go I'm seriously, go to his channel and subscribe, because he kind of lays it out. It's kind of one of those, like, he can show you better than he can tell you type things, because he has,
I think,
you know, go ahead.
I think you just gotta start with the end in mind and figure out, what are you trying to do, right? Like, what is the point of you trying to do? Then you got to know your strengths and your desires, like your self-awareness, which is what I struggled with a lot because I was an only child. And so I think then you have to figure out what problem you're solving, and are you even solving a problem? Because if you're not solving a problem, then what's the point of anybody giving you their attention? And attention is a commodity. Time is a commodity. So I would say, in that sense, that would be my thing, is like, yo, figure out, you know, what is your niche? What are you offering? Like, what is the offer? What is the value you have to offer? And what is the problem you're trying to solve? And if you can figure those 3 things out, you'd be surprised how helpful you can be. And then after that, it just becomes about consistency and time management and output. So I had to kind of do all those things at the same time. And then through trial and error, I finally found the pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like I finally found a pocket. And once you find a pocket, you touch the algorithm, then it can grow fast. Like for folks, some folks think my channel grew fast. I'm like, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it could be faster. I think it could be bigger. But I would say the last thing is know what you do not want. That's just as important as knowing
non-negotiables, right?
Yeah, non-negotiables. Like I do not want an audience as a Christian. I do not want an audience that is tone deaf, that doesn't value diversity, that doesn't value different perspectives. So I almost intentionally every couple weeks will poke the bear and do something to scare people away from my platform. You know what I'm saying? Because
I've never heard it. It's kind of like that defense mechanism / self-sabotage that I kind of do the same thing. So speak into that. I love that. Speak into that.
Yeah, like I don't want someone on following my channel that if I decide to post me getting a tattoo on Instagram to freak out and it'd be a problem for them. So I'll intentionally go through a phase where I'll make videos about how terrible legalism is and how we shouldn't get caught up in the non-essentials of the faith. And I'll intentionally poke the bear to kind of scare away some of the folks that are going to be offended by my tattoos, because I don't want that, because if they find my tattoos offensive, they're going to find something else offensive. Right. And so that's so if you think I'm in sin because I'm going to get another tattoo, which I probably will, I'd rather you not be over there with me. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather you just go watch somebody else. There's other folks that you can watch. I just had Dr. Eric Mason on, right? And so he speaks on a lot of social justice issues and a lot of things like that. And so I'll intentionally have folks on at the expense of my own growth and my own financial incentive to push away certain people, because I don't want somebody. My wife is black, talk about social issues on my channel. My son is black. Like there is going to be guests that we're going to talk about this. Like we're not going to act like racism isn't a thing. So I'll intentionally plan out content okay with the blowback and be okay with the growth being slowed down, because I know the bigger picture is I'm trying to build a very specific community, a community that majors in the majors and doesn't major in the minors, a community that is gracious and loving and is open to new perspectives on situations. And also that a lot of life isn't black and white. There's definitely, as a Christian, there's obviously black and white standards, but a lot of stuff isn't black and white. And so I'm not trying to have these hyper fundamentalist folks that are tripped up by every single little thing we talk about. And so I intentionally do that. And, and maybe that's a luxury that I have now further on in the process. Right. But I bigger than me that just feel like they are handcuffed to their platforms. And they're afraid to say things that they value. Because they're afraid to lose followers or lose views. And I refuse to be that guy. So I've intentionally done that. Very, it comes with some expense. There's blowout.
At that same point though, like if you feel handcuffed or like, to your platform, or like at that point it becomes too much of a job or a burden. Not saying that you're working your butt off. Not that. I'm just saying like, but when it feels like it's not enjoyable, then you have to rethink things. You know what I'm saying? So I absolutely get you on that. So many things I kind of want to get into. I want to make sure I don't miss nothing. So really quick, okay, what would you say? Okay, all right. So let me put it this way. And I just got to speak first person, and then maybe we can dive into the mind of other people. So when I seen you kind of switch the format up a little bit, right? So you're right. Some of the top saying some of the topics you're like, So it's like, what would you say, playing kind of like the devil's advocate? My mom hates when I say that. But anyways, what would you say to somebody who's like, man, he's out here? Because I kind of heard you say it on your stream just now. You was like, well, I don't do that because y'all gonna think I'm clout chasing. I'm out here with, man, this dude is out here really clout chasing or clickbaiting and all. It's like, what is your response to these people? Like, because I'm gonna say that's kind of been holding me back, because it's like, man, you see the headlines, you see the news, and I want to get into commentary, but it's like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, am I ready for that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so much
Mm.
of the audience like coming at my throat every day. Like, so the first part of this is how do you deal with that? And the second, no, the first part is what do you say to that? And then the second part is how do you deal with that? Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a good question. So what, first of all, there's a difference between clickbait and what I would call disruptive value. And I did a stream about it.
Yes. Yes.
Clickbait would assume that I'm getting you into something and then there's like a bait and switch happening. I feel like when we think about clickbait, that's
Yeah.
more or less what we're thinking about. I think the disruptive value or just good SEO is different than clickbait. Like clickbait is like, I'm having, I won $1 million, and then people click in, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about winning $1 million.
Yeah.
Like that's different than like, hey, Demi Lovato's in the news and we're going to talk about it. You know what I mean? And we're going to talk about it in a way that is from a Christian worldview.
Yeah.
So there's so in adding value to people, you have to care about what people care about.
Wow.
And that has to be based on your strengths, meaning that for me, there are certain things that I care about that people care about. Where could I find that intersection? I don't mind doing stuff that's current event based because that actually plays into the SEO of what's happening on these platforms, right? Meaning that if I'm engaged with what people are engaged with, that gives them another reason to click in than just clicking in because I'm this marvelous speaker who's smart and self-assured, right? The other format of this is evergreen content, right? If you do evergreen stuff, meaning that Sean Cannell doesn't do current events, he does evergreen. Think Media does evergreen. Alan Parr does a lot of evergreen. Some of it is current events, but more, by and large, it's evergreen, meaning that it's forever relevant, right? That's a different type of content.
Yeah.
But what are you doing? You are still putting your consumer first. You're caring about what people care about. So if it's like, Alan Parr video would be like, how do Christians date? Like that could be a video. Well, that's something people care about. So when they search how to Christian rate, you're hoping that video that ranks in the algorithm. It's the same thing, except what I'm doing is I'm going to find a video about Kevin Samuels saying something crazy about Christians and dating, and I'm going to tie in something, a public figure, a current event, and give you the same value because I care about what you care about, which is, there's this Kevin Samuels guy going viral. Or I'm going to attack the dude. Unless I like to attack ideas, not people.
Wow.
And so there's some problematic stuff that he says, and I'll talk about that. Wow. And here's the beautiful part. Yeah. Right. Which is ultimately. That's just free press, right? Yeah. I get to live in people's head rent free, and that's a win, And so, man. So I think that is how I would look at it.
I love what you said when you're just like, you have to care about what people care about, And I know my biggest hold up is, I think for me, I'll give you an example. So I'm a music producer, right? And when I've had like some really successful songs, right? I go in the lab and I'm like, man, this song got on the radio. I'm getting publishing deals and checks from it. And then when I'm in the lab, I'm like, okay, now I don't want to create another sound like that. You know what I'm saying? When in all actuality, I should have been thinking, man, I'm molding my own sound. So now I'm bringing the world to my sound. So heck, I can go in here and create 10 beats that sound alike because it's my sound. I didn't realize that. So when you go into the YouTube world, I'm like, man, you see the headlines, the topics and stuff like that. And I had this thing in my head, like, it's too easy. And I know that sounds stupid, but it's like, I can literally get up every day and talk about the headlines or the news or what's popping, current events. And I could probably get some dope SEO and grow my audience, but it's like I got this thing in my head saying, bro, that's too easy. So it's like how do I defeat the too easy monster in my head telling me don't do that because you need to make it harder for yourself and you need to go ahead and do, you know what I'm saying, like camera reviews and all this stuff. It's like that's what I think a lot of people kind of struggle with that. Like, I won't say it making it hard for themselves because you still have to work your butt off. You got to do the videos, right? So I think that's where I struggle with it. And it's like for you, like, is there anything that you like? Cause I think I heard you say on one of your videos, you're like, I'm not touching that. So you get stuff across your radar. You're like, nah, I'm not messing with that.
Yeah. Not because I'm afraid, just because I don't know what I'm talking about. Like if somebody's like, what do you think about Israel and Palestine? I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Whoa, that's deep.
Let me educate myself.
Yeah,
and let me bring an expert on that knows more than I do, and then we'll make the content together. And I could ask the questions and try to create the most balanced perspective on Israel and Palestine. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. I don't know anything about Israel and I mean, I know the basics, like I know the basic history of it, and when Israel was funded as a nation and that land and whose land was it, but I don't know enough about it to have like a formulated opinion. So yeah, I'm not touching that until I have something of value to say on it. And then there's other stuff that I just don't talk about, not because I'm afraid, just because I'm thinking of like, can I add value to this conversation? And if I can't, then I don't have anything to say about it. I'll keep my opinions to myself. But if I feel like I can add some value to this, or I can bring maybe even correction to something, right? I'd rather do that than to not do that. And so it could be a thin line for sure. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff I don't talk about on my channel. There's a lot of current Christian events that I don't talk about, you know what I mean? That I just like, oh, I'm not going to talk about that one. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a whole Michael Todd, Marcus Rogers, Alan Parr situation going on.
Speaking in tongues, like, right?
Yeah, and I was just looking at it, and I was just like, man, I'm not gonna make another video about any of it. I've already made the video on tongues. I made multiple videos on tongues. I'm not making any more videos about this. You know what I'm saying? And but so okay, how would I add to the conversation? Well, I'm gonna bring an expert, Dr. Michael Brown, who is a Jewish, post-Messianic Jew who comes from a Pentecostal background. And I'm going to bring him on, and he's going to talk to me about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And I'm going to push back on some things that, you know, I'm learning. And then we're also going to talk about tongues. And as he comes from a Pentecostal background, let's talk about tongues. You're one of the few Pentecostal scholars that I know that knows the original Hebrew and the Greek and the Aramaic and operates at a doctorate level. Let me bring on somebody that maybe that community will view more as an authority than someone like me, who, you know, like I speak in tongues, I believe in tongues, but I don't think people have to say it or it's a benefit. Like I don't agree with Michael Todd on that. I don't need to make a video about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, you know, let the Alan Parrs and them talk about it. I don't need to make a video about everything that everybody makes a video about. So I just kind of like, I'm going to lay low on this one and then, you know, and then bring it back up.
Shout out to Holly. She said it's refreshing to see two great looking setups. Yeah, again, I credit Ruslan with a lot of the things that I've incorporated in my setup. Shout out to James Hicks in the building. Vaughn said major in the majors, don't major in the minors. Diana Gladney says that a lot too. What's that, Eliseo? Yeah, man. Really quick, so you know, again, I can say this, so forgive me. You know, I've totally bit your style of like video production. You know, to be honest with you, I like what you were doing. I think it looks dope. I kind of put my own spin on it, but now I'm thinking about biting your style too with the commentary or whatever. Like, so my question is, how do you not talk about the same thing that everybody else is talking about? Or is it that you go for that and you put your own spin on it? Or like, would you be offended like if you see me talk about a topic that you posted? Like, how does that work? Like,
not at all.
Like what's the other guy? Marcus Rogers, is that his name?
Yeah, Marcus Rogers. Yeah, like there's gonna be cultural moments that happen that we're all gonna talk about. Like Lil Nas X happened, and a lot of us made videos about Lil Nas X, right? My videos were intentionally different about Lil Nas X. Like I wasn't gonna make and I think people know that. Like people know Ruslan's not gonna make the same video as Marcus Rogers or Alan Parr. And so one, I would say, no, not at all. I think, we understand that, folks look to us for certain degrees of insight on cultural issues or current events. So not at all, bro. I think we should. I think we should be pressing into culture and figuring out ways to add value. And I think it goes back to like, what is the niche of your channel about, right? So like the niche of my channel is ultimately engaging in cultural and current events from a biblical worldview to tie back people into my ethos of empowering people to live God's dream for their life. That's ultimately what I'm trying to do. So I can touch on a couple different topics, and I'm going to drive everything back to a Christ-centered worldview and living life God's ways. So you will always be in God's will. That's kind of what everything's going back to. So if your channel is like, if your niche is, my niche is around production, or my niche is around creativity and media, there's ways you can do that And if you're specifically talking about tech and production, then you could just do a lot of the tech videos. You could do Apple just announced the iMac. I'm not doing that video.
I don't. I'm just saying. I'm not a tech guy. I would much rather. Yeah, like my channel tags are empower, equip, evolve, right? So I can. That's kind of broad. I can kind of talk about.
It is broad, but I'm giving you an example to say if you wanted to stay, hey, I'm the guy that's going to tell you how to get popping with Ecamm Live and TubeBuddy, right? Like kind of like along that niche. You can jump in and say, hey guys, Apple just dropped the iMac, and I'm going to do a review on it. You know what I mean? And then you do a review on. I'm not making an iMac review, but I got an iMac coming on Tuesday. I got the new iMac coming because I'm into tech, right?
Nice.
And so that's like a different niche, and a different person who maybe is trying to be more of a voice and a guru or a guide of tech and streaming, and right, you can do that same. You could do a video on a topic I wouldn't do a video on. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really make sense for me to be like iMac review time. And so I'm trying to look at some of your content ecosystem is the name, is the underscore your channel. So if I'm looking at your channel, you have a lot of creators on. So you're talking to creators. You're talking to different people from like every video has a creators on the come up, right? So what I'm saying is you have to then figure out, if you want to talk to creators, you have to figure out what is important to creators and how can you add value to those creators.
I'm gonna get. I already know I'm getting into commentary. I'm getting into basically kind of like what you do and other creators do. I just wanted to know, like, is there ever a thing where you go online and you see certain creator drop and they're like, oh, this guy's talking about the same thing I'm talking about, or
no, and here's why. When Zach does this, Zach will see way bigger. I'm not going to try to
shout out to Zach Shapiro, man. He's the man behind the plan.
He will see people and send me videos and be like, yo, you literally just did a video about this, and this person did the same video. Like they're copying your format. Wow. And I'm not mad. Here's why. Because they're actually not using my format. They're just using the type of content I make.
Yeah.
And two, because I'm faster.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm always going to be faster. Like the only person that may be faster than me is a John McCrae. Wow. And a lot of times me and him just be talking. Like he hit me today and was like, yo, you should do something on this Demi Lovato video. I think it'll serve you well in the algorithm. Wow. And I was like, oh, I wasn't even thinking about covering that. And then we talked through it. And then I was like, yo, I'll link back to your video. And I don't even know if I don't think he's going to link back to my video, but I'll link back to his video because I think his videos are always punchier and more concise. But that was intentional. Like we literally made the same video, the same type of video intentionally.
Wow.
Because he thought it would benefit me. But outside of him, nobody's making a video faster than me. You know what I'm saying? Like if something happens tonight, I'll have a video up tonight. If something big happens in Christianity, Carl Lentz plants new church, Ruslan would have a video about it tonight.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm not, because no one's going to do it faster, and no one can do it the way I can do it.
Yeah,
no one has the experience that I have. So I'm not threatened by it. And by the way, I want to see other people flourish. I want to see other people win. So it's not a threat to me. And this is what you discover with folks that are really out here winning, is they want other people to win. Like Christians are dope, man. Like Christian creators, by and large, are very generous and reach out very early in the process. John McCrae, Alan Parr, these brothers reached out to me like early. John McCrae reached out to me like maybe 40,000 subscribers. Alan Parr reached out maybe 50,000, 55,000. So the Christian community space, the YouTube Christian community space is mad different. It's not toxic and competitive like music or, you know what I mean? And so I think folks are way more generous to collaborate. I mean, Dr. Michael Brown came on my channel. Like, this dude, Preston Perry and Joseph Solomon came on my channel when I had like 8,000 subscribers.
Wow.
So I think people just tend to be way more generous in this space. And that's because we have something deeper that we're after, right? Yeah. Ultimately, we're trying to push the message of Jesus forward. And so I don't know. I don't see competition. I see collaboration.
So you said nobody can get a video faster than me. That would lead me to believe that, of course, I already kind of knew this, but you're full-time content creator, YouTuber, entrepreneur. Is it kind of like when Belief came on my show, he was like, he brought his wife home. And it's kind of the same situation with you, like the wife is home and like
Oh, of course. Wow. Yeah. And the thing that folks don't understand about that, right, is that being full-time is both a mentality thing and a practical thing.
Wow.
Meaning that I was already full-time doing music. So this wasn't a hard pivot for me.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Meaning that I already knew what it was like to get money by myself without a boss and without anybody cutting me a check. Like I knew what that felt like. I knew, and I was already doing that. And Belief as well. I mean, I think Belief went full-time after his YouTube popped up, but he was getting the music bag before you know, he was getting a YouTube bag, not at the same level. I was getting a solid music bag, you know, 2015, 2016, 2017. So I already believed that it could happen. And then when I saw the Beliefs and the Curtis Kings and the Think Medias and all these dudes that I knew were doing well, sometimes you just need your mind to open up to the possibilities that this can be a thing for you.
Yeah.
I believe what you believe about the world is going to determine how you behave. So if you don't believe that you can do it, you're not going to behave accordingly. And so it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So how do you believe? Well, you got to get access to some people that can sit here and just tell you can do it. Yo, you can do it. It's possible. It's fertile out here right now. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think YouTube's going anywhere anytime soon. So being a full-time creator is mad easy when you've already been an independent, self-employed type of personality, because you view risk different. Your assessment is more optimistic. Like you just view the world different. Like if I'm coming from a place where like I've always worked a job, I've never gotten any money on my own, it's gonna be way harder for me to view the possibility of, okay, well, shoot, I got to bring home $4,000 to cover all my bills. Well, that's a lot of money. How do you even start there? If I'm a creator with 0 subscribers, how do I even get there? You know what I mean? But if you listen or you hop into like my Patreon, hop in a Zoom call, I could reverse engineer that for you. And I can say, yo, your best, most earliest revenue stream conversion is probably going to be merchandising. Here's how you do your merchandising. And I'll break it down to the most simple deductive variable of the entire situation, and have you out here selling merchandise before anybody knows who you are on YouTube. You know what I mean? And crazy. That gets you to $1,000 a month or $500 a month. $500 a month for a lot of folks not just changes their life, it changes their mentality and gives them a glimpse of what's possible.
Wow. I love that. It don't just change your life, but it change your mentality. Yeah, because when you start making some type of passive income, everybody thinks passive income is like the Bigfoot or a unicorn. But when you actually start making passive income, then you're like, whoa, then you like, you're like a lion that tasted blood. You got to have more. So,
oh yeah, that's a good metaphor, bro. You are like a lion that tasted blood. And then it's like touching the algorithm the first time. Like once you touch the algorithm on YouTube the first time, you're like, man, this is really possible. Like this is crazy. You know?
We only got about 10 minutes, but I guess I want to touch on these few things real quick. So what does I'm gonna just throw them out there real quick. We want to look at like what for you, full-time content creator. We don't need the numbers, but like how does it break down percentage wise? Like is ad revenue 50% of your income or more like 20% like most creators? Is like, I know you don't do touring or anything, merchandise, your course, like how does for you in your particular situation, how does it break down for you like that, make up the totality of like how you getting bread out here? You know, I think I heard you say on one of your streams that your ad revenue is like astronomical kind of. Really? No? Did I hear that?
Yeah, ad revenue is on track to do 6 figures this month alone. I mean, excuse me, 6 figures this year. Woo! So if I stay at this pace, we'll do 6 figures in ad revenue. But that drops off. You know what I'm saying? Like that'll drop off. Like it fluctuates. It ebbs and flows.
So what are your ways you offset that when it does dip? Because it dips. I know it dips.
Yeah, Patreon is great.
Okay.
So Patreon for me is really good, and I view Patreon more like a community, less like a support me type of situation. Which again, what do people want, right? Yeah. What does my consumer ultimately want? Do they just want another creative to support? There's tons of Christian creators out here to support, but if I can add value by giving them access, by doing Zoom calls, by hopping on, doing private Zoom calls, group coaching, that type of thing, reviewing their music. I think I'm going to start another tier and do like a channel review, YouTube mentorship tier, right?
Yeah.
I think those things are vastly important. So Patreon, AdSense, and my products. So courses and merchandising. As you just did our first course, that was a multi-5-figure drop.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then
that's crazy.
Merchandising. Merchandising is, anytime we drop merch is 5 figures. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get that. I mean, I think I could do a 6-figure month in this year. Like that's kind of one of the things I wanted to see happen this year was a 6-figure month. So if I drop a course and then within the same timeline drop a merch drop and then have a killer month on AdSense and the Patreon goes, it's possible, right? And it's nuts saying some of this stuff out loud, but it is possible. So, and then I still make money off of music. So I still have a deal with Music Bed that generates me sync licensing every month.
Nice.
That does well. That's not 6 figures. That's probably like mid 5 figures. Nice. You know what I'm saying? Like that's under 50K. So all of these little slithers.
Yeah. They
compound,
add up.
And they add up, man. And you don't. What you don't want to do is depend on YouTube AdSense.
No,
you know what I'm saying. You don't. No. But my life is built right now. We're just about if I can live off of just one of my streams of revenue if I had to. Meaning, if everything shut down, I could live off of just YouTube. Wow. If everything else shut down, I could just live off Patreon. If everything else shut down, I could just live off my products. If everything else shut down, I could just live off my music money.
Wow.
And that's how I would be thinking about it. Is you need 4 or 5 different revenue streams. But you need to be able to live off of one of them, so you can take the rest of that bread and pour it into other things.
Wow.
And merchandise, I think for most people, especially if you're a reasonably fashionable guy, if you care about clothes, merchandising is going to be the first thing because it's just such high margins. There's such high margins. It's so simple to make. Everybody buys merch. Everybody needs merch. And clothes is one of the few things that have stayed the same price for the past 25 years. Like if you think about like what a pair of jeans cost when we were kids versus what a pair of jeans costs now, it's more or less the same price.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Which is really wild where everything else has went up with inflation. So merch is one of those things that I feel like is very, very lucrative. And folks will cop a $25 t-shirt from their favorite YouTuber. And if you just do the math, if you sell 100 t-shirts, you know what I'm saying, a month, that's $2,500. You know what I mean? And again, that number may not make you go full time, but just the possibility, the mentality, and then you start figuring out. So, you know, I got buddies that use my merch system that do $300 to $700 a day in merch right now because they're following the system of merch that I laid out for them. And they have an audience. That's the key. You got to have an audience. Once you have it, but however big or small. So maybe you're not doing 300 to 600 a day. Maybe you're doing 300 to 600 a week. Maybe you're doing 300 to 600 a month.
Wow.
You know, but and then you scale up.
Wow. Yeah. I put out a shirt, 3 words, pause, pray, proceed. I put that out and I did like for the first 3 months, $1,000 a month, not even trying, you know what I'm saying? So it was, I saw the potential in that. I'm like, man, this is crazy. So cool. So what does a typical day look like for Ruslan? Like you get up in the morning, I think I heard you saying one of your streams, you check what's popping or something like that. Or do you already have what you're going to do? Like what does a typical day in the life of Ruslan look like?
Yeah, I'm up. I do my morning affirmations. I go to the, go to the gym, usually listening to praise and worship on the way to the gym.
Nice.
I work out, come home, hang out with my family for a little bit. So right now, Zoe's young, so try to make sure I got that time with them. And then the rest of the day kind of ebbs and flows, man. So it's usually in the studio by 10. And then I kind of like pop in for lunch, go back, work on a video, do an interview, pop back in for dinner, go back.
Wow.
And then I'm usually home, I work next door to my house. So like my condo is next door on the other side of the wall. And then I rent this condo here.
Oh,
it's just cheaper.
That answers so many questions for me because it's like, I thought that was like where you live, where you're at right now, but it's a whole, when you say condo, is it like a studio or like a whole apartment condo?
No, it's a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom. My mother-in-law has one of the bedrooms and my niece has the other bedroom upstairs.
Man, that's lit. That is super lit.
It's just even covering the entire rent, even covering 100% of the rent, it's still cheaper than having an office space.
Man.
It's still cheaper than having an office space.
So you don't have to worry about
man. So I just kind of cruise, man. So like Wednesdays and Fridays, there's basketball. I probably don't get home till around 10. My son goes with me, so basketball's at 7 every other day, usually at the gym by 6 or 7. And I cruise, man. I cruise because my mind has to be sharp.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm always thinking about where is my willpower at, how is my eating, you know, because I don't want to come on YouTube with a negative energy or toxic energy. So I don't come on when I'm hungry. I don't come on when I've had a bad day. And then and I'm just trying to keep my mind sharp, trying to keep my body sharp, trying to make sure that I'm always, you know, around for my family.
Let me ask you this: do you think your vibe has changed? I'm gonna give you my answer, but do you think your vibe or your countenance has changed any since like YouTube has started popping off for you? What would be your answer? And then I'm gonna tell you my answer.
Yeah, I think it totally has, man. Because
cool.
not in survival mode anymore. Like pre-YouTube, I was doing good. Like I was still doing 6 figures, but it was still survival mode. And there was no path to any of the goals I had. There's no path on like getting into a home. There was no path on getting ahead and saving a ton of money.
Wow.
It was like, it was cool. But and so I think now, once you exit survival mode, then you have margin built in. Once you have margin built in, then you can really look at the level up. And I think a lot of folks, if you're at that rudimentary ground floor, you first got to figure out how to sustain yourself and just, you know, work to eat. You got to work to eat. And then once you learn to work to eat, then you can sow to reap. Wow. And then once you sow to reap long enough, you can level up, but you got to have that margin built in. So it's like, you're not going to go from 0 to 7 figures as a creative, and you don't want that. Proverbs says that an inheritance obtained too early in life is not a blessing in the end. Yep. So you actually don't want to go from 0 to 7 figures. Like you don't want to be nobody and then be Logan Paul in 2 months. Like that's not dope. You know what I mean? That'll ruin you. Wow. But you build it out where you say, okay, now my day-to-day life is sustained. And I don't have to worry about money because I work a solid job or whatever. Like I work a solid job. I'm an independent contractor. I have my needs met, my food, shelter, clothing. So instantly the pressure, if you can take that pressure off of yourself, then you can go into, okay, let me figure out how to sow to reap.
Wow.
And so now I'm sowing to reap, the pressure's off. And then eventually you keep sowing long enough, you keep refining it, you keep being self-aware, you keep paying attention, you keep being deliberate. And then eventually this will bubble up and it'll start to flourish. And then once that flourishes, and then you can really get rid of the side job. And then this is truly, and that's where I got to this last year and a half. My independent thing just went from survival and sustainability to like flourishing and thriving. And now I see a path to the things I want to do in terms of, you know, buying a home and scaling to a 7-figure business and all those types of things.
That's lit, man. Yeah, I have yet to buy a home too. I'm literally in a 3-bedroom apartment. My wife's office part is on the other side of this and I'm on this side, and it's like, man, but I do want to say, man, your vibe, in my opinion, you know, I could be wrong, I don't know you, just so everybody know, like me and Ruslan, we have never met in person. Like, you know, this is just all us just connecting online, which I do believe since the pandemic has happened, just a testament of reaching out to people and connecting, you know what I'm saying? Like, so shout out to Ruslan for just accepting to come on the show, not even knowing me from a hill of beans. But so with me, I think your vibe has changed because when I came into you earlier, it's like and it's not a bad thing, but it's kind of like I could tell you had like a chip on your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Like you wasn't really doing much smiling, you know what I'm saying? But then I kind of fell off your content a little bit. And then when you change the format, I kind of, you know, of course the algorithm is putting it in my face more. So I'm like, let me check them out. But I come on, you're smiling, you're joking. I'm like, oh, this seems like a whole different dude right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
it's the byproduct of success, but also therapy, also stability, also, you know, just being in a better space.
Wow.
But yeah, I think that's a very accurate assessment, man. And here's the thing, sometimes you need that chip on your shoulder when you're just repping up. Sometimes you need that like chip on your shoulder and like, all right, I'm gonna prove everybody wrong. Sometimes you need that, man.
That's why I said I don't think it's a bad thing, but you know, I could just tell it's a totally different, you know, countenance right there. So that's super dope to you. I don't want to belabor the time. I think we're already over an hour and 1 minute now. I did want to just take a quick second. Actually, I need to exit out of this because, man, when do you think you're gonna hit 100K? Like that's coming up probably in the next month, I think.
I don't know, man. I had Dr. Eric Mason on, and that definitely slowed down the growth.
Oh, man. Well, you're at 80 now.
80,000. If y'all watching this, the replay is go subscribe. I don't know. I put the input in, and then the output is what it is, you know? So what I don't do is just chase numbers. I think numbers are important, but I don't do that.
Yeah.
And so so I would say I mean, I thought I would hit it by now, if I'm being all the way honest with you. Like I thought we would have been at 100K.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I thought we would have been at 100K by the time Zoe was born. And there was at one point, bro, I was growing by like 12,000 subscribers a month, 11,000 subscribers a month.
Crazy.
It slowed down to probably like 4,000 or 5,000 right now. So and it's also a lot of like collaboration. So like popping up on different channels, collaborating with different folks, having folks come on your channel. Yeah. Though that stuff really does help, and those bumps really do. And so I'm always doing stuff like that. But yeah, so for me, I'd rather have 100,000 people that understand what I'm attempting to do and understand the ethos, even if they don't fully agree with me, by the way, which I don't want people to just fully agree with everything I say. You don't want
like yes man out there.
Not at all. Not at all. But I'd rather have 100,000 folks that are there for me, not there because they think I make a certain type of content. Wow. And I think that's the part where, again, you know, imposter syndrome, mental health issues with a lot of creators, you start being a slave to your platform. And I'm like, I'm good. Like, I don't mind if the growth slows down and it takes me another year to crack 100K. Because I know when I do, I'm thinking depth. I'm thinking the depth is going to be crazy. I mean, it's already crazy. Like for the amount of revenue I generate with the size platform I have, it doesn't make any sense. Like 0 cents. There's folks that have 3-4 times the platform I have, and I net out ahead. And so, and the amount of engagement and the amount of views I get, I think is evidence of depth. And so it's not always about the numbers. Like the numbers are a cool metric, but you don't want it to just be about, oh, when I hit this threshold, you know, folks like, yo, you're going to get to 1 million. And also, folks also forget, man, YouTube changed the algorithm. And so what they're doing on the homepage is servicing you the videos that they think you want to see. So a lot of folks watch, 56% of the folks on my channel watch and aren't subscribed. Whereas before, people YouTube only showed you stuff you were subscribed to, or primarily stuff you were subscribed to. So there's actually the creators that are blowing up now, have relatively smaller platforms than audiences, if that makes sense. If you pay attention to like let's just look at Kevin Samuels, who blew up in the last year. Kevin Samuels' audience is substantially better than his subscriber base. If Kevin Samuels blew up 5 years ago, he'd probably be at like 3-4 million subscribers right now. You know what I'm saying? But so many people consume without ever subscribing because they just made it that much more convenient. They already know what you're gonna like before you like it.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know, I use your channel sometimes as an example to creators because of course your format, but so many times these gurus tell you, you have to have, I got to use my goofy voice. You have to have your banner has to do this and it has to say this and it has to have this. And when you're uploading and all these things. And I'm like, well, look at Kelly Stamps. She has her picture. Look at Ruslan. He has his picture. Look at all these. And of course you guys are exceptions to the rule. Don't get me wrong. You want to do as many best practices as possible. But I just said that to say that your will, your tenacity, your drive, that is what really gives you the edge, not graphics on your YouTube banner. You know what I'm saying? So like, had you ever even thought about putting an actual banner on your channel?
I did, and here's why I stopped. I'm gonna keep
all the way
over. Here we
go. Ruslan exclusive right now.
The reformatting, bro. That banner look mad different depending on whatever device you're on. So they give you these dimensions for a banner, and and the way it looks there look mad different than it look on a phone, look mad different than it looks on a TV. And I just kept making that. And I was like, yo, I'm never winning with it. Because if you look at it on a different browser, the amount of space is mad tight. You know what I mean? And so I just like, you know what? I'm done. Like, I'm just going to throw up a photo. Like, it don't really matter. Like, people could poke around and figure out what my channel is about. I don't need to be like Ruslan, artist, creative, Christian thinker. Like, you know what I'm saying? And yes, best practices are important, but I just got tired of all the shenanigans. I just got tired of all the shenanigans with the formatting of that thing, bro. Have you ever looked in like what the dimensions of it are supposed to be, bro? It's such a headache.
It's retarded. Yeah. But also, who does your thumbnails? You?
I do, bro. I make all my thumbnails in OBS, which we also cover that in the class.
Okay, gotcha. Wow, you make your thumbnails in OBS. Wow. So and do you do your shots for your thumbnails right on the live? Like, let me just take a thumbnail shot real quick. Is that
no? So here's the kicker. If you can make your thumbnails before, you can actually be way more effective. So if I were to go live tomorrow, which maybe I should There's a module in the course walking through how I make all my thumbnails. You should check it.
Can we look at the course real quick? I know.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna get you out. Bro, I bought it. I have to repent. I bought it. I haven't even looked at it yet. But
okay.
Yeah.
So show me the outline, guys. This is not meant to be. If we were trying to promote the course, we should have done this last week. But since we're here, show me the modules. Like take me through all the modules.
Is this it? Mod 1? Okay.
Yeah.
Vision mapping.
Live stream.
Yeah. No, I mean before we even do this wasn't planned or nothing. He's not promoting this course. I invested in this course. The man has completely blown up on YouTube. You know, what is it? $400 now, bro, for this course?
Yeah, $399.
Yep. So I mean, I would, I'm telling my audience, I would invest in this. I've already invested in it. If I were you, I would invest in it too. But so let's look at this. Go ahead.
So that's the free training they could all take. That's just how to find your niche.
So just go to mod 2 now.
Yeah, go to mod 2.
All right.
And mod 2 has this gets more into the strategies for all this kind of stuff. And so this is delivering your message. If you go to mod 3, live stream setup and blueprint.
Okay, gotcha.
So this is where you start getting into the meat of everything.
Yeah, I see that.
You know what I mean? OBS, mastering your audio, lighting. Okay, now go to mod 4.
Okay, this is lit, man.
So this is where we start getting into content strategy.
Okay, like
how to scale, from your live streams, how to create thumbnails in OBS. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of more of the meat of everything. And so here we get into content structure, and then the very last one, monetize your platforms. There's a module in there on how to sell your own merch. So how to sell your own merch. So this is AdSense, Patreon, and merch. How to sell your own merch is going to be its own course. That's how good that is. Like we're about to drop that. We're going to do a merch drop and then drop that next month.
Gotcha. Well, I hope I got in on the deal where I think I got that. I think I heard you say that. I was like, oh, I got it.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. You got it. This is like going to be our big master course that we're always going to keep adding to.
Nice.
If that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Right? There's going to be continued mods and continued stuff adding to it. And then we're going to take different sections of it and make them their own course. So like the merchandising that's in here is going to get added to, and it's going to be its own standalone course.
Nice.
Cool. And then eventually this will be like 3 or 4 courses in one, and the price will keep going up.
And I'm in.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I think this is the kind of stuff that, shout out to Truth that he said we're in here nerding out. We definitely nerding out. But it's all in efficiency. It's all in like, how can I make the thumbnails ahead of time? How can I make the outline or the flow of what I'm going to talk about ahead of time?
Yeah.
And if I can do that ahead of time, it's mad easy. So I have multiple videos queued up to go, right now. There's a video that I just did that I separated as its own stream that I already have a thumbnail for. So I'll be waking up tomorrow with at least 1 video going up, maybe 2.
Cool. So, and we're about to get off the stream right now, but real quick, while I have you on here, so I'm live. Let me show my screen real quick. Oh no, that's not screen share. I'm live right now. So I click, why am I frozen right there? Oh, let me hit.
It's fine. Don't worry about that. Go to, okay, so you're in the wrong stream. So take me to your dashboard.
No, it's it. Oh, while I'm live, I can
go on. You got Restream open. Yeah. Go to your YouTube studio.
Okay. YouTube studio. All right, cool. Mm-hmm. Man, this is a game changer right here, bro. Like, all right, so
and then go to your content.
All right.
And then go to live.
Okay, live. All right. So we're live.
And then, so don't click that. You see the little symbol that looks like a little live icon? Go back over there.
Right here.
To the left, right. Right.
Oh, this.
Right there. That thing. Yeah.
So I can click on this.
Click that.
Ooh, man, listen, yo.
Okay, so this is okay. So first of all, you want to turn on monetization.
Yeah. I will.
So click out of that.
Okay, click out of that.
Let's see if it's okay. Go back there. Go back there for me.
Click. Where to go? Can I click on this?
Okay. Oh gosh. See, it's not letting you do it. Just hit save and see what. Turn on monetization real quick and hit save.
Okay.
Let's see if it lets us do it.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Okay. So all of this is always done. Okay. So now you see where it says end stream.
Yeah.
And then there's a share button, and the button right next to that is our marker. So hit that marker button for me.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
You see end stream, big, bold, red, top right corner. End stream.
Oh, end stream. Gotcha. Cool.
Don't end the stream.
This. Oh my.
That is an add a marker.
So you keep this up and you just boop, you click it when you need to.
I see my chat in here. I can see all my analytics in there. So click that button for me.
Bro, why has none of these YouTube guru? I'm pissed off, bro. I'm pissed.
Because they're not on my level.
Bro. Why have none of these YouTube gurus?
No, I'm sure somebody has. I don't think anybody uses this format and has streamlined it the way I have. But that add marker. So now when you finish this, we'll get offline and I'll show you how the YouTube editor works. And I mean, it's in the course too, but I'll for the sake of time, I'll show you how to get there.
So I can just keep clicking this wherever I want to click it.
Whatever you want to click it.
And then when does it? It seems like it's grayed out. You just give it.
It's grayed out because it's probably like you probably don't want another one in a second from now, right?
Okay.
So it'll separate it. So when you're done with this stream, it'll say like end stream, and it'll give you the option to edit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's like a chapter marker, Kevin. Yeah. Exactly. It's like a chapter marker, but it's not a chapter marker from a timestamp standpoint. That's a different type, right? Because those help too. If you do a long interview, you could chop those up. This is a marker. When you go into the editor, you'll see these little markers.
Wow.
And I put the markers when I change topics or when I mess up and I need to flip something.
Oh my Lord. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. That's because I do live streams. I'm like, do I want to go back? And I'm thinking I got to like go in Ecamm because the Ecamm gives you a recording. I'm thinking I got to export all this stuff into Final Cut Pro. I'm like, no, Ruslan does it way simpler than this. Like,
here's why. There's nothing wrong with chopping all that up. The issue becomes is the recording into Ecamm, importing into Final Cut or Premiere, exporting and uploading, importing, exporting, uploading. All that takes too long for me. All those little steps, I don't like that.
Yeah,
I just want to do it right away and save as new video.
Wow. You know, I heard a YouTuber say, if you can remove all the barriers of frustration, the barriers of, procrastination, and these things are what does it. Like I tell my people all the time, I got to 10,000 subscribers with my cell phone, right? And as soon as I started getting YouTube checks and started buying Canons and all this stuff, got to worry about ISO and aperture and all these things. I haven't even done no content. It's like, I just wish I can go back to my cell phone. So it's kind of that same concept of like removing all these barriers and removing all these frustrations and these things that make you go, I got to do this. Every time you like suck your teeth, it's like, it's not a good thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, absolutely. And it doesn't create good morale. It doesn't make you want to create more stuff.
Wow.
So if you already feel weighed down by having to edit and look at Premiere and all these different things, and in the YouTube editor, I edit everything at like 1.5, 1.75 speed. So you heard me before I got online, I was trimming something, right? So it was like, it's fast, bro. So I'm just going through and, getting it as punchy as possible. And then it's a wrap.
Do you have all your thumbnails ready to go for when you like, I know I'm finna do this, chop this, I got it ready to go?
Yeah. Like I got my Demi Lovato thumbnail done. So I can go on. Let me see if I can screen what. If
you're a virtual cam, you should be able to.
Yeah. So let me see.
This is crazy though, bro. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I know we're over our time, man, but this is good, man.
See if I can do this. How do I screen share?
We got to get you back to little baby Zoe.
It's not letting me screen share because I got.
It's all good. Don't sweat it, man.
Yeah, it's because I got the display link. But yeah, so like I'm adding the thumbnail I already made from earlier today, and the video is already separated, and then all I'm doing is saving, and the thumbnail's there. So now all I got to do is later chop the video down. It's 24 minutes. I got to chop that down and right inside of the YouTube editor, and then SEO, schedule the Premiere. Another quick tip is whenever you have a new feature inside of YouTube, always use that new feature. So if YouTube is giving you, like right now, they gave us a whole new Premiere trailer feature.
Wow.
So you can schedule your videos as premieres, which I recommend because it keeps a chat going like a live, and you can put trailers on them, and you can redirect them to other lives you have planned.
Wow.
So when YouTube rolls out a new feature, you engage with it, and so now all my videos start with a 3-minute trailer of me, telling what I do, how they can support, and then here's a throwback of me performing a song. And so people who are there early can be exposed to everything you do. They can learn about your Patreon. They can learn about all these other things.
Wow.
Always use the new features a platform rolls out because 1, they're there to help you, and 2, I think sometimes they see you use those features, and they may push you up the algorithm, maybe a bump up the algorithm. So we do YouTube Shorts now, intentionally making stuff natively for YouTube Shorts from the longer streams, chop them down into minutes. They're gonna push that out more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Well, man, yo, thank you so much, man. We're gonna get you off the stream, man. I just want to once again. this
not do that drop.
This man doesn't know me from a hill of beans. He jumped on my stream. Yo, listen, this man has actually gained over 60,000 new subscribers since, I ain't even gonna say I'll say Rona, since Rona came to visit. I ain't trying to get demonetized. So yeah, so I mean, he has a lot of value to give. You know, I say definitely go to his channel and subscribe. You know, if you like his content, definitely go subscribe and you know, listen to what he has to say. He has a dope course. I'm a part of his course. I actually invested in it. And I'm definitely going to be going through it. So, man, once again, I want to thank you for coming on the stream, bro. I definitely look up to you as a content creator in this space, the Christian entrepreneur content creator space. Just as overall, sometimes we put Christian on stuff and it don't even need to be like that. Like, I think like you're dope, like, you know, regardless, you know what I'm saying? So as an up and coming content creator. So definitely let's keep the lines of communication open and let's collab wherever it makes sense. If you have like a stream or anything, you need some guys to jump on, I'll be glad to jump on there. And I'll definitely be keeping you in the loop as well, man. I sent you a shirt, so you should be getting that shirt.
Hey,
yeah, it's one of these joints. I gotta let me see if I can show it. Creators on the come up.
I love it. That's hard, man.
We had Omar from Think Media on last week, and he was like, "I'm a creator." He was like, "I'm a creator on the come up." I'm like, he's like, "Yeah, I actually am. He kind of told a cool story about you and how you know Sean Cannell. Is like his pastor actually is cool with Sean Cannell and this and that, or maybe not your pastor, but somebody I guess you go to church with.
Yeah. We have a really good. Me and Sean got a really good mutual friend. So yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy. And Sean, just to see what he's done now, about to hit 2 million subscribers. Man, it was very encouraging to see him on your channel because you guys got different. I mean, you guys got similar vibes, but for him to come on, he was holding no punches and he was just going in and
he was going in, man. Sean's amazing, bro. He's one of the first people that like really believed in me and like gave me some game early on in the process. You
That's
know what
crazy.
I mean? So I'm forever grateful.
That speaks to kind of what you said about the Christians in the YouTube space are really giving and more approachable and outgoing. So that's super dope, man. But at the same time, you guys, of course, we're not no pushovers. You could tell Sean Cannell, he don't play no games. Like he don't like the excuses. He don't do the excuses. He don't do the sap stories and stuff like that. So I think that's super dope. What if you do you have any last things you want to say or let my audience know or talk about?
Just go subscribe, man. Go subscribe your boy to 100K. That's the question everybody want to know. Why is the chat? When we gonna crack 100K? When y'all go subscribe and tell a friend to subscribe and make sure you subscribed. And that's it.
That's what's up, man. Well, thanks again. We're gonna get off the stream now, and we've already took up enough of his time. So, man, we went 1 hour and 20. Wow, where did the time go? That's crazy, bro. I never go over an hour, man. So I think we got into the YouTube analytics stuff. I think that's what did it. Yeah,
we geeked out.
We geeked out. But hey, thank you guys for watching, man. Like I said, make sure you guys go subscribe, and we're gonna holler at y'all on the next time. I love y'all. Peace. Let me see. Where's my closing screen at? Oh,
thanks for watching. Tune in next week. Same time, same place. God bless. Be safe.